Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. This is Turner with this morning's edition of the LT&A Chatter Project. I am live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I don't know what's going on over here on my YouTube. It's doing something crazy. I don't know if it's my laptop. I don't know if it's the program I'm using. I don't know what's going on. My Instagram has been faithful, but I'm going live on my phone on Instagram, so it could be my today. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue leading through adversity. So, welcome. Good everyone. This is Luciana Turner of the LT&A Chatter Project. This project is designed to bring you the latest news and information in the government contracting arena. We discuss everything from current legislation to changes in rules applicable to businesses operating within the government atmosphere. And I know I said atmosphere instead of industry, but just walk with me, okay? I am going live on two different devices, so I will be looking in two different places. I haven't gotten my setup perfected yet, but you know what? As I said previously, lead through adversity. So I have been working in government contracting specifically 2005. I started as a nonprofit in 2001. So if you include my nonprofit years, I've been in the nonprofit government contracting industry for the last 20 years. I've worked as a financial analyst, and predominantly I've spent my time as a compliance auditor, compliance officer. And essentially, my duty was to ensure that my company was adhering to the rules and regulations as laid out within the contracts themselves, the applicable laws of the industry, such as foreign CAS, the Department of Labor, and any other additional industry specific regulations. And with that said, I'm going to start of some of the things going as we know it today. On September 10th, there are some new FAR amendments and FAR rules going into place. We're talking, there's a limitation on subcontracting going on that takes effect September 10th. Limitation in the scope of review by procurement center representatives. Previously, there has been a overreach. We're just going to call it what it is. An overreach in the review conducted by representatives of the procurement centers. FAR has finally said enough is enough. These are the areas you can review as a part of your services. These are the scope. That's it. A full-on audit, full-on review is not within your purview. You need to request an independent. Now, well-intentions aside, this is a good thing for industry because when people try to do things they're not supposed to do, you end up with a mess. People, procurement officers are not auditors. Therefore, they call themselves finding things and they haven't found a thing. And all they have done is created a problem. Because then you have to prove a proof that isn't a proof because you didn't need to prove it in the first place. Then they try to make law things not law because audit steps are not law. There are audit steps. So this is boon for the community. However, everything finally dies in audits. We all know that the IRS has asked for $1 trillion potential tax evaders. We also know that there's problems with the PPP program, at least the first round. We also know that the Department of Labor swore in some additional auditors on the day after the President Biden was inaugurated. So we should see an uptick in audits all the way around. So government contractors, if you're not ready, you need to get ready. If you keep saying, oh, I don't have to worry about it, that's when you need to worry. If you are a contractor, if you do business in government, if you read a document that you've put your signature on, every document says you must be willing, able to produce documents. Excuse me, because somebody keeps calling me. Produce documentation for audit. Now, sorry, that threw me off. Most most RFPs say 5 years. I wouldn't trust that with a long handle. No. You should plan for the auditor to come around after 5 years. But we'll go on from there. There's a new FAR clause, is actually a FAR update with the good faith business subcontracting. And then there's some technical amendments and updates within FAR. All of these go into effect on September 10th. Now, we know we're in the last month, last quarter of the government year. Q1 at FY 2022 starts in 28 days. Some contractors are on this low-hanging fruit endeavor. And while there is money out there, I want to propose to my small businesses and small business contractors. Are you ready for Q1? There, there are a whole lot of initiatives coming out for the next government year. Q1 is in 28 days. Do you have a strategy in place so that you can hit the ground running October 1st? And if you don't, you should. This is the conversation. These are the discussions that we need to be having. Learning to proposal and all that stuff is very good. However, learning to write a proposal and you, excuse me, don't have a strategic plan is an exercise in, I would say, an exercise laid out for fiscal year 2022. Do you know what contracts are ending? Do you know when? Have you researched those contracts? Are they good for you? Are you going to sub? These are the questions you should be asking yourself. The year starts in 28 days. Have you even thought about a strategy, or are you still pursuing low hanging fruit? And how has that been going for you? Government contracting should not be viewed as though you can throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it's. That's not how you do contracting at all. If you wish to grow and scale, you must have a strategy, have a plan. That's just the way it is. There are a number of events coming out where you're going to be put in the room with, well, virtually in the room with procurement officers. I know the American Express Open usually is held in June. That is a big event. I will tell you when the dates come out. I tell anybody go to that. That is held every year in June in Washington, D.C. That is a big event. And when I say the top dogs in government show up, the panel discussions are awesome. Everybody that's a government contract, especially if you need to be at the American Express Open. And I know somebody is saying, well, June is a long time away. Not a government contracting time, it isn't. Because you need to have a strategy. You need to know who is going to be there, who you want to talk to. Some of these sessions are concurrent, and you want to be in the room. I tell you what, when I attend with my team, and we have a plan of attack. You're going to this one, you're going to this one, you're going to this one, we're all going to this one. And then we schedule times where we get together and we debrief each other. Then we, at the end of the day, we sit down and we say, okay, what did you get? What did you get? Now, how are we going to institute? You need a plan. You need a for how or what you're going to get when you go to these events. What is your purpose? What is your goal? If your sole goal is to just go pass out your business card, that's not good enough. I know I'm kind of segueing a bit, and I'm doing a lot of op-eds or opinion pieces in the Chatter Project lately, but I just realized there's 28 days until FY22, and what I know for a fact is small businesses do not take advantage of all of the resources available to them within the government space. And it is sad because most agencies do not meet their small business goals. And although I would argue small businesses do not do their part to help the contracting officers reach their goals. I sat in a pre-biz meeting and small businesses would not turn on their cameras, would not ask questions. And the questions that were asked, quite frankly, didn't belong in that pre-bid meeting. I have never sat in a pre-bid meeting where the attorney had to jump in and cut off commenters so much. Because the commenter, one, that's not a stand a place to. Two, there are certain questions they cannot answer by law. And when they start off talking, there are just certain things they can't tell you and give you because that tells them you don't know what you're doing. Part of the RFP process is to demonstrate you know what you're doing in running a business. And if you stand in there asking them basically for documentation to you are high risk, do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a battle book? That's a DOD term I borrowed. I want to know. I need to know. You need to know. These are the questions. Now, on Tuesday, I'm holding a masterclass discussing the top 3 things you need to know about government contracting. The link will be in the comments section of this live, and you'll also be found on my all of my social media platforms. Also, later on today, I will be releasing the classes that I will be holding um, for FY 2022. I will also, on November 1st, starting 21 days of government contracting virtual summit, where I will be talking about how to be a power partner in government contracting. I am pulling together some of my power partners, and we're coming together on this platform, and we're going to give you the tips and tools. And one of the things I'm going to tell you is that do not tune out.